Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What's up, everybody?
What's happening?
Morning.
Morning.
Another week in the books.
It's February.
Yeah, it is February. I tried a solo live stream yesterday to follow up Steve. I used to do some of those, and then I get out of the habit of doing them. Man, I had all kinds of technical difficulties. It's a lot different running it by yourself.
Ryan?
What's going on here, everyone?
Yeah, I thought you did good, Paul. It was a good one.
Yeah, once I got in the groove, and I was flustered at the beginning because I couldn't get Facebook, and I was trying to get Facebook and Rumble to work. I've been slowly but surely. I think I have I have 13 followers on Rumble after a year of being up there. It's funny. I like last year when I had the stuff, the issues with YouTube. I went ahead and put up on Rumble. Everybody's like, go to Rumble, and then nobody watches Rumble.
Yeah.
Nobody watches the
You're working for Chase. That's like his only platform now is Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people want to find him over there. My gosh, you seen Chase? He's like crazy downsized.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
Yeah. He's I got to talk to him. I wish we could have him on. He was like, and it's like John Wick persona non grata on YouTube. I can't even have him on our live stream.
Yeah,
Really?
he's definitely downsized though. He looks like he's going to be a soccer player now instead of a bodybuilder.
Yeah, I think he said he's down to like 200 pounds.
What if we disguise his voice? Change his name.
The artist formerly known as.
Mm-hmm.
Just going
Yeah,
base.
I'm looking forward to catching up with him at the Arnold. I was talking to him the other day for sauna recommendations. I've been thinking about buying a sauna for my house. This fucking cold is killing me, man. I need to get in a sauna.
Oh, I seriously, getting an infrared sauna was one of the best purchases ever. It's the best.
Yeah, he was saying don't get the infrared ones. He said they don't get hot enough. Get a Swedish sauna. They go up to 200 degrees. The infrared ones only go up to like 160.
Yeah, but the whole point with the infrared sauna is that you're meant to be in it for a longer duration. Like, so I'll be in the infrared sauna for like an hour. Like it's just
I looked up. There was a new study out that the infrared. I'm trying to remember where I saw it. I read it a month or so ago. Where the infrared doesn't get you hot enough to have the same effects on your cardiovascular system that the Swedish sauna does.
Huh.
I think you have to get up to around 180 degrees for that to happen.
But I think you have the opportunity of different benefits too from the red light, right? I think you get a little bit better potential for like the angiogenesis in the actual areas. Like some people have these little strips they can wrap around a shoulder, they can wrap around a knee and try to kind of isolate.
Yeah, I don't know how all that works. Well, I don't know. Everybody have all the reviews I read. Everybody says get a Swedish one.
Yeah,
I just want to be fucking hot. I don't give a fuck about the benefits of it. That's
well,
what I'm going to sweat my balls off.
They haven't changed the technology for years because it works.
I mean, you can get both because you ball so hard.
Yeah.
Speaking of cardiovascular health, did you guys see Callie Muscle had another heart attack?
Yeah.
Oh
No.
Yeah, that dude. People are messaging me all week. They're like, "Why do you think he had a heart attack?" I'm like, "Bro, he posted videos nonstop of him. He would put the rubber gloves on and be hammering for every fried fast food he could possibly find. He would just do these 20,000 calorie days, and he was popping Anadrol on top of it. What the fuck do you think's going to happen?
Hyphy mud was the truth, but it's a little much.
I mean, Jesus Christ, man. There was a video of it. Let me see if I can.
Well, he does a ton of those eating challenges too, and I don't care what anyone says. Forcing 20,000 calories in a sitting is no good for your heart. No.
Down he goes.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, he was. I'm sure he's all fucked up. I mean, he had a massive one. I think they said that he should have. He had an arterial blockage, if I remember right.
yeah.
Yeah, it was exactly what we were talking about last week. You know, high saturated fat diet combined with orals, which are going to further skew lipids, and then you end up in it with high blood pressure and all that combined, and you end up in a situation like what he's got. Probably part of it's genetics too, and he's probably got predisposed to that to begin with.
Like that's specifically the arterial blockage is what you don't see with bodybuilders who are eating bodybuilding diets, right? Where we're not they're eating, they're eating the right types of foods. And you specifically don't see that blockage. But just like you said, if Kelly Muscle is just eating all this, fatty food and everything, then he's got a bad diet and he's going to have that atherosclerosis, right? And that's like the main cause of heart attacks in the United States.
Yeah. I mean, it's high fat diets. Like it's all the saturated fats, the shitty oils and stuff that people are eating.
It's cultural too, like in the diet and also in the genetics. African Americans are more predisposed to some heart conditions, especially congenital heart failure and high blood pressure and things like that. And then culturally, their diet has a lot more saturated fats in it, right? Like they all grew up.
Yeah.
I hate saying words like that. They all just to pre-qualify. I have a black grandchild, and I'm not a racist.
Very good.
But there are genetic differences between us, and he might have some genes that significantly predispose him to those conditions, and then you add to it the high saturated fat diet and PEDs, and he's a time bomb, man.
Yeah.
And somebody said he only ate fruit for the last year or so. I'm like, yeah, dude went on this, I saw he went on this stupid ass watermelon diet. That's just as fucking bad for you, man.
Well, we say watermelon diet. We say one more thing, we're gonna get kicked off YouTube.
Isn't that basically the sugar diet?
I think
no, I'm not shitting you. He was like
you're right. I saw it. Yeah, no, it's basically just the sugar diet.
Yeah, he was just doing all. It's these extremes that the body. It's just terrible on the body.
By the way, I like this guy's profile picture. Looks like he's got a bunch of serostim.
Oh God, I better take it off before I get banned.
I think it's important to understand like the two kind of main types of cardiovascular disease that we're talking about, right? And I think it's important for people to understand those. One of them is exactly what we're talking about. The main way most, especially obese people or people with bad diets die or have problems is the atherosclerosis, buildup of plaque, right? And then we're just narrowing the holes in your arteries, and then it makes it hard for your heart to pump blood around because you have to, your heart has to work so hard to squeeze blood through all those narrow arteries. The other way is the sudden cardiac death, which was highlighted in that study that Paul, that you did a video on. And that is when there's our blood pressure, like water retention, different reasons for high blood pressure, high heart rate are causing your heart to work hard. And each cardiac cell gets what we call fibrogenesis, where it starts to build this fibrogen, this fibrous over the cell and the cellular
essentially scar tissue.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yep. And it becomes hard to conduct electricity through. So now your heart doesn't pump correctly. Right. So that's the other type of heart attack. When we're talking about a bodybuilder who is eating properly, eating the right types of foods and is just but he's having just high blood pressure, high pressure on his heart from carrying all that muscle around. That's it's more going to be that sudden cardiac death or the fibrogenesis over the heart. Obese people is mainly going to be atherosclerosis. So it's important to kind of understand those two distinctions. If you're eating right, if you have a proper diet, then just be concerned about blood pressure. Like Paul said, Paul, you do a great job of highlighting this often, and I think it needs to be highlighted. Watch your blood pressure, watch your heart rate, watch all the things that we're looking out for to make sure that your heart isn't working too hard, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of, mostly when you see young guys die, it's usually an arrhythmia, from what you said, from the fibrosis, scarring of the heart tissue, or in left ventricular hypertrophy that makes the heart conduction hard across the heart.
Yeah, but the left ventricular hypertrophy occurs because your heart is working overtime.
Because
right?
it's working
because
overtime,
of the
right?
reasons that we talked about. Yeah.
High blood pressure. And then, like, if guys, where I get concerned is the dudes that are doing the keto and carnivore diets, have these really, really super high fat diets combined with using orals and stuff that are further going to skew. I've seen it, man. I've done multiple consults in the last year with guys that have had arterial blockages, multiple. And Dallas McCarver, I'm pretty sure he had a almost complete blockage of his coronary artery, and dude was in his early 20s.
Oh, is that because I remember I think Anabolic Doc did a breakdown of his autopsy. Why I died? I can't remember it anymore. He
had everything, man. He had almost a complete occlusion of his coronary artery. He had his massive left ventricular hypertrophy. His heart was almost I think it was like 1,000 grams, if I remember right. It was somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Which is like 2.5 times what the size of a normal heart should be.
Oh yeah.
He had thyroid cancer that he didn't know about. I think it was. Yeah, there was some lesions on his liver. He was just all fucked up. Dude was all fucked up.
He was a massive human being. So
it sounds like you're describing a dead man.
Yeah. I sponsored in 2013, Mr. O. I sponsored Phil Heath and I'm having a brain fart. Another one of the big bodybuilders. I'm having a brain fart. And I sponsored their after party, their cabana. I bought their cabana at the after party, and they came in and they had the whole setup where there was a line of people waiting to get their autograph. But I sponsored the cabana, so I and a few of our friends could be back there, and we were hanging out with Phil Heath. Dallas McCarver came, and I'm telling you, this guy dwarfed the rest of the bodybuilders. Like, he was just massive. You just look up at him. He was tall. He was massive. I'd never seen a bodybuilder that big.
Yeah. Crazy, man. God rest his soul. And I don't mean to talk. I don't mean to talk bad about these guys after they pass. It's just something that we can keep, that we should learn lessons from. I know they had a family and all that stuff, and I feel terrible for his loss.
Yeah.
But it's a warning for the rest of us to be cautious. And then some of it's just shit luck. You just have bad genetics. But it's like we talked about last week. People aren't aware of what their genetic predispositions are. Now we have testing. We can find a lot of the stuff out, like the dyslipidemia. I found that out, that I have genetic dyslipidemia. My body just makes too much cholesterol on its own. So it's something I can warn my kids about. The clotting factors that we can test for, all these things we can test for, so if you're really taking a chance. And then there's some dudes that just seem to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
What's his name? The big German, Marcus Rule. Fucking Marcus Rule would smoke cigarettes between his sets when he was doing squats, and then go eat. He ate fast food all fucking day long. That dude's 60 years old, still 300 pounds.
Yeah.
So still smoking?
Probably. I don't know. We all have that one uncle, right? I have an uncle that's a medical marvel that has drank and smoked and his entire life, has diabetes, and he's almost 80 years old and still somehow north side of the dirt, doesn't work out, take care of himself, anything. It defies logic. If I did that, I'd be dead already.
There's a part of that that's epigenetics, though, that, how healthy your life is somewhat predetermined by how healthy your parents' life was.
Mhm.
So that person, they become this N of one, but their offspring would not be as genetically blessed because of the lifestyle they led. And that's where you see, like when you look at, studies of shorter lived animals, that we can study them over the course of the lifetime, as health degrades with each generation, it progresses, so there is that uncle or that grandpa who smoke and drank, or the person lives to be 100, and they say it's because they had their morning cigarette every day. Well, that's great. Their offspring, though, if they lived that same life, would not have that same expected outcome, because things change as we change.
Yeah. It's really interesting just what you're saying, Amy, because I'm learning a lot about this, because we're going to be offering a product that will actually kind of reverse the methylations that cause some of the epigenetic factors.
Oh, cool.
Right. So it's called DNM1, DNA, or DNM, DNA transmutate. Man, I'm just learning.
Workshop a name.
DNM. So what it does is it copies those methylation patterns from one DNA to the other, and then that can transfer to offspring, right? So if you have a specific environment and your body methylates a portion of one of the promoters for some of your genes, then that can be transferred on, right? So what you can do is, like, some of the stem cells, right? Some of these other things that are happening. We're partnering with a company that has the cell factors that are the original kind of blueprints for all of your cells, and they come from whole placenta, right? So what they essentially do is just program the cell to do exactly what it was originally supposed to do. All the methylation patterns, and it demethylates where methylation patterns are not supposed to be. So it kind of resets the cell. And so exactly what you said, like, some of these cell factors that you see out there are to reverse that. But it is really interesting. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, we're going to see all kinds of neat stuff coming down the road here shortly. And something I was, and I saw more of it this week. Doing these consult calls, it's enlightening seeing stuff. I know probably some of it skews my view of some of this shit, because I get to see the guys that have screwed themselves up.
Yeah.
But I've, like, we touched on it briefly last week, but everybody's running equipoise now because of the shortages, and have been for the last 6 months. And I have seen some really funky blood work from equipoise. I'm telling you, man, I've seen quite a few guys with cystatin C that's going up from running equipoise. I've seen some crazy high hemoglobin and hematocrit from running equipoise, and I've seen it doesn't seem to happen to everybody. And I've also the one thing that is somewhat universal is everybody gets their estrogen smashed. Holy shit, it is potent at lowering estrogen.
Yeah.
I mean, it is potent at lowering. I'm talking about, I was telling guys, we'll just start off with 50%. That's a conservative number. No, even at that, guys were, ending up with single digit estrogen.
You mean like a 1-to-1 ratio, or testosterone?
No, like 50% of your testos.
Oh yeah, like a 2-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, so a 2-to-1 ratio, and even then,
sometimes
a lot of dudes. Yeah, it's still too much. So I'm starting to wonder if it's even worth using. Like, how much can you really run and get anything out of it? And maybe guys would just be, in this current environment, be better off just running tests and taking an AI.
Here's one of my concerns, and I'm just saying this just because of the science, and what's more important is what we see in the field, right? And we've been seeing people use EQ for decades. Well, it's been around for 50 years, but especially for the last few decades, 2 or 3 decades, 2 at least, it's been used quite a bit. And we don't see any, other than what Paul's talking about. And that I agree with that. Other than what Paul's talking about, we don't see any like long-term it's not like people are just dropping dead because they're using EQ, right? But one of the other concerns that I have is that it's conversion to estrone as opposed to estradiol. When you have that, and it can convert to a lot of estrone. So if you get your estrone test when you're taking EQ, I mean, it can be, you can have like a 500,
off the
600
charts.
estrone
Yeah.
and just
You're
a
off-
normal estradiol, right? That imbalance in estrone versus estradiol can cause problems, and we start thinking about you can actually start thinking about some cancerous factors can come from that, right? So,
Well,
so that would be like
also,
a concern of mine.
Also, dudes talking about the anxiety and stuff that they get from it too. That could be because of the estrone.
Yeah,
Possibly.
We're just
so now
not
you got to
supposed
take down estrone and try to restore your estrogen. This sounds like fun.
Yeah,
You know what's baffling to me though is that when you do the research, I mean, like none of the clinical research says anything about it crushing E2. Everybody says it aromatizes at 40 to 60% of the rate of testosterone, and it's just not. Nobody who's ever used it. I mean, every once in a while you get a random dude on Instagram that wants to argue, but no one
Yeah,
who's
I had
ever
that
used
guy.
it for any period of time has that opinion. So how does the research fall so short of that?
yeah.
Very simple thing.
Part of the problem is exactly what you're talking about. Like, why don't they ask us? Like, honestly, like if you're designing a study around that, why wouldn't you ask some of us who have freaking 20, 30 years experience doing this stuff? Like, just
Well,
like, hey, what do you think of this?
When
Well, there's
was
this
the last time
cultural
there was
barrier.
any?
Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
When was the last time there was any legit study done on EQ? 50 years ago?
Yeah.
If that, probably more.
Yeah, and it was very briefly approved for human use, but it was mostly just veterinarian use. So there's not that much human data on it.
Yeah.
And it's look, I haven't seen this with everybody, but some guys seem to tolerate it better than others. But I've seen some very aggressive hematocrit levels on it. I've seen some very aggressive lowering of estrogen on it. I've seen my personal experience having used it in the past. Nothing, even Anadrol doesn't seem to aggressively raise my hemoglobin and hematocrit. But the one time I was north of 55 with hematocrit was using EQ. So even in small doses, it's I guess that shows you that it is anabolic, that it's driving that. I'm starting to have a little bit of concern about it.
Start at 10th and wait.
Quinones, that's the word I was looking for, is the estrone. I'm having a brain fart. The estrone can convert into quinones, which can be cancerous. That's why we haven't seen it though. It's not like in the last 50 years we haven't seen like, oh, if you take EQ, you're going, people are coming down with an abnormal amount of cancer. That's not happening. But that would just be a concern, because that's what we look for in certain some of the old estrogen, like when they were using HRT and they were using synthetic estrogens. That was some of the problem, is the estrone was causing quinones. Which were increasing the risk of cancer.
You mean you shouldn't have a 400 estradiol,
or like a 600 estrone, especially?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like that whole high estrogen craze has died down finally.
69 or less.
Amy, you were talking about there was a new study out on keto this week, right?
Yeah, it was interesting. The thing that was really interesting about it was they looked at, of course, it's mice, and there are so many different types of mice that they use for studies, but they were specifically feeding male and female mice either a keto diet or a traditional high fat diet. And while the keto mice did lost more weight, even with the, in a calorie restriction, even with the makeup of the diet, the metabolic markers on the keto mice were really, really shockingly bad. And they specifically saw that it was shutting down insulin production in the pancreas, which is why they were becoming insulin resistant. They still don't understand exactly why or what is causing that to happen. But looking at the amount of, just fat in the bloodstream and the metabolic effects, the study author said that anyone considering a ketogenic diet should absolutely discuss it with their doctor first, because there seems to be far more risks than benefits. And if the only benefit is that you're, potentially a lower body weight, but you're much less healthy at that body weight, is that actually beneficial? It was very interesting. I just appreciated that they the other mice a high fat diet, a traditional, like, traditional American high fat diet. So it wasn't like they had a very calorie restricted low fat group against the keto diet. They were, neither of these diets were ideal.
So like when we increase free fatty acids in the blood, right, that suppresses the production of insulin. So that would kind of look like insulin resistance. So that's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting to see that.
Well, it's, from what I understand, it's specifically the type of fats. I know in rat studies, when they make the mice insulin resistant, they feed them a high saturated fat diet. I think it's I pulled it up. It's 60% of the calories are from saturated fats, and within 4 to 12 weeks they become highly insulin resistant. And it's from what I understand, it's how those fats affect the phospholipid layer of the cell. It makes the phospholipid layer of the cell stiff, and then the insulin receptor does not function properly.
So,
Well, and that's, we could call it advanced glycated end products, or AGEs, with the cell wall. When the cell wall gets compromised or sticky or stiff, things can't pass through it like they should, and other things will kind of get stuck to it. So you're almost like sugaring your blood at that point, because then these, glucose molecules can kind of almost get stuck to the cell walls, which is making them sticky and not allowing other things to get in. It's almost like, go ahead.
I forgot to send Gonzo the link. I just realized. I will send him. But yeah, it's interesting. And there's some, I have used keto diets with clients in the past for guys that are severely obese. But I've kind of gotten away from that. I've been, for people that really need to drop weight fast, I've been going with a protein sparing modified fast, something like that. Or even going, taking a few days going very low carb. And
there's definitely benefits to a ketogenic diet. Like if you're needing to treat like a person with epilepsy, or something like that, is that they show definite benefit there. But I think for your average person, or your, healthy lifestyle, or, someone who is wanting to reach optimal health, I don't really think it's the best way to go.
No.
Anytime I've ever dieted anybody on keto that I was coaching, it's always been, really low saturated fat compared to what other people think they need on keto. So if you're conditioning your body to burn ketones for energy, but you also want to lose endogenous body fat, why would you continue to give it an energy source? Why not focus that oxidation or lipolysis on fat that's already existing in your system, rather than stuffing cheese bombs and keto balls. And then when you're 20% saturated fats, and you're eating lots of healthy fats, you don't have all those same problems that was talked about in that study, because I think most of that comes from the saturated fats.
Yeah, it seems to be the saturated fats are where most of the problem is. That's a concern I have with the carnivore bros, the guys that are eating all the food with a lot of saturated fat in it and slamming anadrol and tren on top of it. Yeah. Just a bad combination.
But I still think it's a good tool for a short period of time.
Oh yeah,
I've never ketoed anybody for more than 90 days. It's just
it's a tool in the toolbox, and I have used it before. I've had some people in contests contest prep that I have had to pull carbs out just because they just can't lose weight otherwise. There's been some people that just seem to be resistant to weight loss, although now GLP-1 seem to have fixed that problem for the most part. But
you mean I would imagine calories out matters.
I think those people, it's got to be, they got to be metabolically disordered somehow if they're not losing weight. That would be my guess. If the Retta and the Motzi are fixing it when they couldn't lose weight before, they have to be metabolically disordered.
Now, when you say keto, are you actually doing like 70% fat, or are you talking more of like a high protein, low non-existent carb diet when you say keto? Because I'm under the impression keto is actually
true keto. You have to keep the protein low. because of gluconeogenesis, right? Because your body will just start converting proteins into glucose, and you're not really in. That's why people that have higher protein and high fat can't get into ketosis.
Right.
Yeah, but once you get past that first week of going into ketosis, you can bring the proteins back up. It's not going to kick you out.
That's interesting.
Tanya makes an interesting point here, saying that because they literally succeeded in making people think that eating fat equals burning fat. And it's like the whole fasted cardio conundrum. Like what you eat, your body's going to burn. So like looking at these studies, we're like, oh, look, when we fed people just straight ketones, they burned more ketones than the people who didn't. Like, yeah, because that's what your body had available. And it likes to, use what's readily available and easily available. Like Paul said, like, so you're not having to, start gluconeogenesis. If there's ketones present, you're going to burn those first, obviously. But if those aren't present, then this is going to happen. So, your body's very flexible in a way that it's going to use what you give it. It's like a construction site. It's going to keep building stuff out of the materials that are dropped. It just doesn't mean that those are necessarily the ideal materials to build what you're trying to build. So using things like cyclically, like Paul said, like, you might have somebody who for a period of time does really well, or Mike, like you said, like to drop a guy into keto, like to really drop some weight, but then to kind of bring them back up to a place of metabolic flexibility where you can add the protein back in, and they can then start to use that to build muscle while they're still potentially losing weight. Like this is where it gets so, tough with, and Paul and I were discussing this, like that people view these diets as religion. They stop seeing them as something, as a tool. They start seeing them as like this fundamental part of their being, that they have to be keto or else, and it's not that serious.
Yeah.
And it's maybe not the solution.
Yeah, it's a tribe. The whole thing fat adapted cracks me up. That term cracks me up. I had a guy arguing with me. He's like, well, it takes weeks to get fat adapted. I'm like, dude, if that were true, people would have fucking died overnight in the Ice Age, man. Right? If it took you weeks, I mean, what's happening is your body's depleting glycogen. You're going to have to deplete all that glucose before it's forced to burn ketones.
Yeah.
They're the emergency energy source, right?
Yeah.
They're the last resort, and I've always viewed diet strategy as a tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
And there's different tools for different jobs, and some of them, I don't know. I go back to the carb cycling thing. That's why I like the carb cycling, because you kind of get the best of both worlds with it. There are days that we'll take carbs down to nothing, and we're days that we'll replenish glycogen. It just works real for athletes. Maybe not for like the soccer mom. It might not be the best approach, but for athletes, it's a very effective way of getting lean without ruining performance.
Well, the little PMSF push we did on my last prep, Paul, was pretty effective.
Yeah, we did a short blast of it. Yeah, to get you over the hump.
Push the diet forward. Kind of got me off of a little plateau, and
sometimes you have to do some weird shit to break through. It's so weird when I'm contest prepping people. Sometimes, like, I'll have guys that'll get stuck losing fat, and literally you'll just make the smallest change, drop 25 grams of carbs from their diet. It's 100 calories on paper. That should make zero fucking difference, right? And then all of a sudden they'll lose 2 pounds. Or sometimes I'll even do the opposite. I'll put food back in their high day when they start to get really lean, and their metabolism will get slow, and they seem to get stuck, and I'll plop some food back in on their high/refeed day, and then bam, they break through and lose again, or I'll add 5 minutes of cardio. Or sometimes I'll just tell people to take a day off. It's a lot of it doesn't make any sense on paper.
Yeah.
Gonzo, you look like you're going to go do like a spy operation after this. Like you look like you're going to break into a bank.
It's absurdly cold for living in the deep south. I think
Are you above 17?
So yeah, it's like 20 degrees outside and windy. So
We're 17 in Warner Robins. Congratulations.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, like, look, man, I moved from New York City to here to avoid this.
It's 14. It's 14 here right now.
Hey, merino wool is amazing. I recommend everyone buy a couple pairs. You got it?
That's what this is. It's merino wool thermals, and it's got like the hood and the face covering. So
the face covering.
Yeah, it's something. It's cold out there.
Is that Antifa approved?
It's anti what proof? Well, it wicks. It has moisture wicking. You know,
it wicks. Oh my gosh! Did you guys see Mike Summerfield said he's going to be taller when he gets heighted at the Arnold than he was at the Olympia?
Is he still playing with that? Is he?
He said, "Oh yeah, like just last week he said he's going to be 5'9".
He really shouldn't talk about the height thing anymore. If I was him, I would not bring attention. Just let it go.
Yeah, I agree. Like he lucked out once. He needs to just let it go.
Yeah.
Fucking IFBB, their hiding stuff is so stupid, man. They what they need to do is when you get your goddamn pro card, they give you your class that you're in. Done.
Yeah,
that's your cap. Do it once.
Do it well. Yeah.
Do it once. You're that for the rest of your career. Done. Finished. Like your height changes that much. Come on, man. It's a ridiculous. I don't understand why they're hiding people at every show. It's so fucking stupid.
Well, you're only going to get shorter in my estimation. You're rarely going to grow inches deep into prep when you're extremely stage lean.
Yeah. I discovered how short I was by losing weight. Go figure.
Well, I hide it myself for classic just to see if I could squeeze in. And I used to be 6'3" and I was under 6'2". I was like 6'1 3/4" or some shit.
Oh, wow.
So that put me in the lower weight class because I think it was 232 is the cutoff in the NPC for me. And
so do you prefer to be taller so you have more weight to play with?
More weight to play with. Yeah,
that's what you want. Okay.
So So the difference is 7 pounds going up to the next for me, or 8 pounds, something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers.
That's considerable.
Yeah, that's a big jump. 7 pounds of muscle is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 17 pounds over the cap. So there's no way I was doing it.
But Mike is looking incredible. Like he posted some pictures a few days ago that just look insane.
He always looks great.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Wesley back though, and hopefully looking much better than he looked last year.
Poor guy. Last year had a rough go. I really like Wesley. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, he has such a great classic physique. Like, but he's kind of that guy that doesn't have a lot of leeway. Like he needs to be peaked pretty perfectly to really showcase it, or else he can just look a little bit imbalanced. Everybody likes to point in his legs, but I don't know. I'm excited. I think he's looking great, and he definitely pushed his off season this year to try and grow.
Yeah. Speaking of the bodybuilders, any word on Hadi and the Iran situation? Does anyone have any news on that? Is he coming? Is he competing?
I don't know. I follow Suki at Behind the Stage. He said that he's in contact with people who like do know, but he's not really allowed to say. I mean, because there's a complete like blackout on internet in Iran. So I don't know. I mean, even if he does make it, I don't know that I feel like he's going to be in the top anymore. Like the number one. I look at him and I look at like Ashley Kaltwasser, who's also coming back to the Arnold this year, and I think kind of both of them. They both have amazing physiques, but they're kind of like topped out at their game. And is that really the look that's winning anymore? I don't know.
You know, I'm relatively new to this, but my understanding is, of course, and we know, like, stress, cortisol, all that can affect your look. And I assume even more so at this level, where like everything counts, right? So I would imagine like the situation for Hadi would make it harder, right? Like even if he does make it, is that enough? I don't know, stress and concern to change the look and to jeopardize the package? I mean, I don't know. Right?
Yeah. So, and he may not even be able to get a visa.
Right.
Exactly.
Because that's the other thing. Because my understanding is,
might even be worse if he did.
My understanding is that he had some prior military experience because people in Iran, I believe, all served. So even that right there legally, there's the whole like, can you even get a visa at all? Even as a competitor, which is unfortunate,
Yeah. Well, and he has to, go back to his country. So if getting an American visa and coming to the States would be bad for him when he went back, he may
Yeah.
choose not to do that as well. There's a lot to consider in this situation. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I feel bad for any athlete though who's in that situation, because you just want to compete in your sport. I mean, it's like with Beirut, that he finally made it to the Olympia last year.
Yeah.
And you hate that for that to be the barrier, like things that are completely outside of your control.
Yeah, and the whole
So far
concept
outside.
of your this is how you make a living, and now people are like politicizing your views, and some people demanding that you don't make a living because of your views.
Right.
To me, that's but we're American. We have a different mindset, I assume, culturally. I don't know. It's unfortunate.
We want to get into some questions.
Yes, we got questions. The first question is actually for me. It's from Tina. She said, question for Amy. What do you think about the controversy surrounding the David bar? Do you still like it and promote it? If so, why? If not, why not? This is a challenging question, Tina, because
Can you preface it for me, Amy? I don't even know what the David bar is.
Yeah, so the David bar, it is a protein bar that is on paper like the best macros on earth. They have 150 calories. They have like 0 to 2 grams of fat and 20 grams of protein and like no carbs. However, the controversy comes from the fact that they purchased the company that produces a unique type of non-absorbable fat. So it's the reason they're able to put this 2 grams of fat on the label is because they're using this fat source that is non-nutritive, like it's non-absorptive, kind of like Olestra, but actually doesn't give you like crazy diarrhea. So they actually bought this company and prevented any other company from being able to use it. So there were other companies that have gone out of business because they can no longer get the specific ingredients. So then there, all this backlash, and the owner of the company came out and very openly said, yeah, we did this. Yeah, we saw the opportunity and we bought this company. So yeah, I mean, good for them. I mean, then there's
can't handle a little competition. I mean, it is what it is. If you don't like it, you should have bought it too. It's fair game.
The free market.
Right.
No.
Exactly. Free market, so, and could other companies then produce this same fat molecule that could be used? I mean, yes. So, it's tough. Do I think it's a good option if you need it? Yeah. Like to fill in a protein gap. Yes. Do I think it should be this or any protein bar should be relied upon as a sole source of nutrition in your diet? No, but I do think it is a good option for people. I wouldn't have more than, probably, I think it even says on the label not to consume more than 3 a day because of this questionable fat source. So with any packaged food item, I think they have their place in a diet, but I don't think they should be a replacement for natural or for whole foods when you can help it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way I look at it. It's just, it's something to do in a pinch, but whole food always wins, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if labeling claims seem too good to be true, they probably are. I mean, do we really know the effect that this non-absorbable fat has? I mean, are we potentially absorbing a little bit more than the 2 grams stated on the label? Maybe, but again, as long as you're not relying on a full source of nutrition, you're going to be fine. So,
yeah. And that's assuming that everyone's telling the truth, and it's not a scenario like the cake batter protein craziness,
Right.
Which
I think the bigger issue with David is that they're selling cod for like $20 a pound.
Nice.
Yeah,
but if people are just butthurt about their business strategy and how they executed it, I mean, I don't think you have a place to give an opinion. Just it is what it is. That's a great move. I mean, I would have made that move if I was in that field too. If you have an opportunity to crush your competition and to take the lead, why wouldn't you? And if you stand by your product, even better.
Yeah.
I can't.
They do have a booth at the Arnold, so you guys can all try them.
Oh, nice.
I can't remember the last time I ate a protein bar. I couldn't tell you. It's been years.
You swap pizza for your protein bars?
Yeah, pizza. Pizza's the answer.
Pizza's got protein.
Do you think I'll get a free bar?
Oh yeah,
I've got a case of those with me too.
Because
I was pretty sure I wasn't going to get enough protein in, and I realized that I couldn't eat them as frequently as I needed to without some digestive problems.
Barbells are good. That's about it.
I've had those. Those are good. Josh, you're right.
Yeah, I've had them all because nurse. So
yeah,
barbells is the only one I would even think about.
I do like those fake crunch bars, but they taste too much like a candy bar not to be a fucking candy bar.
Hey, Snickers is a protein bar.
You know, it's a pretty good one. You ever had the one bars? That's like 1 gram of sugar or something like that. Yeah. They have like a glazed donut, and it's not the best macros. I mean, it's not terrible, but it tastes like a candy bar. It literally tastes like a honey glazed donut. It's phenomenal.
I mean, I do like cookie time sometimes with Lenny and Larry's cookies, but they're not that good or that healthy.
Nick Flynn is correct. Anabars are the best.
Anabars are
seriously like crack. Oh my gosh, they're too good.
Wait, which ones are like crack? I like crack.
The Anabar.
Too good.
Oh, the Anabar. I've never had those. I should probably.
They're good.
What a clever name, the Anabar.
The Anabar. Mm-hmm.
Take it with your Anabar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're
anabolic. All right. Next question is from Bill Parlerman. I'm an older guy, 55, and just getting started in the sport. I'm officially training for my first men's physique competition in October. Congratulations. Yeah. As an older guy, do you think it is a waste of my time? Oh my gosh.
No.
Not at all.
Absolutely not.
No.
This is awesome. Do this.
I'm going to say yes, just to be different.
Absolutely not, man. Go for it. Paul here has coached me through the first time ever this year, doing exactly what you're talking about, and it was life-changing. I would do it, Bill. Go do it.
Yeah, this is what I tell people. It's a personal journey. It's I don't know. I can't describe it unless you've done it. Gonzo is a guy who thought, you were like, I'm not sure, and I'm like, just try it, man. I'm telling you, it's to me, it's about pushing yourself to do something really difficult that you didn't think you could do. It is contest prep is probably one of the hardest things that most people will ever do in their life.
Yeah,
it just is. It requires a lot of discipline. Mentally. It requires a lot of mental fortitude. It's
grit. It's definitely grit. It's determination. It's not having to quit. And it tests you daily. It really does test you daily, especially as you get closer and closer. But there's, I don't know. For me, there was a feeling of satisfaction every night. Every time I went to bed, I'm like, I did it. I did it again today. And then the same thing in the morning. So from a psychological, even spiritual, if you want to get all, I don't want to get all woo-woo, but from that perspective, it develops your willpower. You'll feel so much better, Bill. Like I cannot encourage you enough.
Yeah. Lifestyle experiences. I mean, go for it.
I don't remember who the quote came from. I say it all the time. I need to attribute it to the right person, but I heard this quote from a climber one time. It's like, you don't climb Mount Everest for the view from the top.
Yep.
It might have been that. It was some mountain climbing documentary I watched. I love mountain climbing shit, even though I would never do it myself because I'm terrified of heights. But I just love extreme shit.
George Mallory.
Yeah.
Maybe it was him. I don't know.
I just used the magic Google.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
I figured it out.
Yeah. Maybe it was Mallory. But I've heard that saying many times. It's and I thought that was very applicable to contest prep, because I get guys that get very focused and worried about placing. Like, they're like, I don't want to go out there and get last place. And I'm like, dude, the guy that gets last place worked just as hard as the guy got first place.
Wow.
Sometimes harder, man.
Yeah.
No, that's probably true. Maybe.
Yeah.
And you can control that. People bring their package. People bring their look, their thing. And, maybe that day you get lucky and there's like 4 guys that didn't bring more than you did. Maybe you got unlucky and everyone worked really hard. It looks amazing. They have great genetics.
Or they get the cake batter protein and you didn't, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, you can only control what you control. And as long as you know that you did your best, you're good to go, man. It's great.
And to be honest with you, a lot of times the guys that win shows aren't the ones that work the hardest. They're the ones that won the genetic lottery.
Yep.
Absolutely. Or learn to pose better and practice their posing.
That does help some.
Yep.
Well, that's truly in bodybuilding. I think that's what differentiates people who love the sport and who love winning. There's a lot of people that are, especially at a local level, that are really good. They win everything they do, and then they get to the pro stage and they come in dead last and they quit. Whereas other people, continue past that point because they love it. And like maybe they get last at every show they ever do. And they just keep doing it because they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Grimm. It was a boxer in the 1900s. Basically, it was like 4 wins and like 100 ties because people couldn't just knock him out. So he just get punched in the face for 30 minutes. He loved boxing.
A true sadist.
I guess to be legit though with an answer for him, the only thing I'd say is just the only time I'd feel it'd be a waste of time if you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Like if you're approaching this challenge for the wrong reasons, like if it's not something you want to prove to yourself, to do for your, for yourself, see what you're made of, those are all good reasons. But if you're doing it for clout or to show off, or you think, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and I could say that would be a waste of your time because you're going to dedicate a lot of effort, time, mental fortitude.
That's true.
Yeah, you're right. External validation, you don't need external validation. Like if that's your prime motivator, you might want to rethink it because this is too hard and too complex and too deep of a process. And I know like I'm sounding like a meathead, like the meathead philosopher here, but to be honest, it does test you spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Yeah.
So it's not something to like just, you're going to put 16 weeks into something that's really hard. Man, make sure you're doing it for Dave's right. Do it for the right reasons.
Yeah. And that 16 weeks is the bare minimum of time you're going to put into this journey.
Mm-hmm.
There's some guys that have been putting in years and women that have been putting in years and finally stepped on the stage because now they feel they're ready to do so.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, Jackie put in 6 or 7 years before she even signed up for her first show. I think we just talked to Mike and I just talked to Tanya on my podcast, and same thing. She put in a handful of years before she said, "I'm ready to go and do this challenge." So,
February 14th, Tri-Cities.
Let's go.
Johnson, you going? Are you able to get off?
February, I just started a new job with the Fed, so I don't know. Especially since I'm trying to still go to the Arnold. So
right. So
I'm going to have to prioritize. I will have to prioritize. But,
I got you. That's fair.
But I did talk to Tanya, and there is a new show here in Alabama in October. It's a new series by Emmanuel Hunter, who's one of the big men's physique guys. He's starting a whole new promotion series. So October 26th here in Huntsville, there's a show, and I mentioned it to Tanya since she's once stayed over.
Yes.
So
April
hopefully,
11th.
yeah. So hopefully she can. April 11th is more likely. That's more likely. That's more possible. Tanya and team. So let's hope.
So is that a new league, Gonzo, or is that NPC still?
It's a new promoter. It's somebody. My understanding is Emmanuel Hunter is an Olympian competitor, men's physique, one of the top 10 probably. He's up there, and he's promoting it. I think he may be retiring from competing and now actively moving into promoting shows and having
It's NPC sanctioned.
I believe it is.
This time, Tanya's in prep. She thinks that February 15th is 8 weeks away. It is 2 weeks away.
It's the 1st of February, Tanya.
Yeah, it is not. You do not have 8 weeks. You have 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No,
Stop
February
eating now.
Her show's on the 11th of April. On the 14th of February, she will be 8 weeks from her show.
Yeah,
She'll be 8 weeks out on February.
because it's in April, right?
We got to have Tanya on. Tanya, you get a hold of me. I need to get you on.
Yeah, email him on the website.
Yep.
On the.
Or if Dave has the number, pass it around.
Yeah. I'll send it to her.
Tanya
Okay.
was kind enough to accept my
on
invitation. We're recording on our podcast tomorrow, so I'll share with you guys also.
Oh, good.
So
Yeah. Tanya is a VIP in the comments section. We need to get her on.
we're big fans.
All right. What do we got next?
Next from Gamboni Law. Awesome to hear from him. We haven't heard from him in a while. Great show. What do you think of kettlebell swings as a finisher on lower body in the 15 to 20 rep range? Do you think they are for conditioning, time versus reps? What are some good finishers for legs and back?
I'd say that's a conditioning thing, in my opinion. I mean, I'm a big fan of a lot of people. I put some of the hard things last. Like I'll put heavy walking lunges as your very last movement. Just complete stretch, pull all the blood to the areas. If we've been working the legs, especially hamstring days, We can kind of get that glute tie-in, hamstring area kind of stretched out a little more blood flow. I usually put kettlebell swings as kind of like on an auxiliary day if we're trying to kind of keep fat burning going, like a half resistance training, half kind of calorie burning day. That's just my 2 cents.
I am the wrong person to ask. I've never touched a kettlebell in my life.
I actually do this as a finisher already. It's like sometimes, and this is a great exercise. It's fun.
I like to run sprints with the 45s. Just get 2 45s and just run up and down the gym. That's a pretty good finisher.
That sounds horrible.
If you get running, you get your Naruto run. So you're like this, basically.
Kettlebells really annoy me because they used to make us train with those before they'd let us put the gloves on and actually spar.
Oh, yeah.
Blame that on my early coaches
like
or senseis.
Finishers. Just get the 110s and just walk around your gym.
Well, one quick thing though, like if you're aiming for like a, finishing a hypertrophy day, and you're not looking for conditioning, the only thing I don't like about the kettlebell swings is where it can be very fast paced. We're pulling blood from our target muscle and just pumping it through our heart and just kind of moving it away from the area that we want to leave a pumped blood rich area. Like I try to get people to do some sort of intensifier at the end, like a FST7 or some sort of a marathon Widowmaker set, and just fill that target muscle for the day full of blood, walk out with a pump, let all those metabolites sit in that muscle.
Yeah. It's definitely more of a Metcon type movement for sure. Like definitely more for metabolic conditioning than hypertrophy.
Yeah.
I had somebody yesterday when I did my live stream comments, this is not related to this, about I needed to do more content geared towards women. So we'll get Tanya on to help us with that. We'll let Tanya and Amy take the lead.
That'd be awesome.
That's somewhat the fallacy, though, is that there are specific things. I mean, there are a lot of specific things for women, but I mean, all these old antiquated notions of women need to train with like lightweight and heavy, or lightweight and high reps, versus heavyweight. I mean, a lot of that's just really antiquated.
I was just going to say that, Amy. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't think women should train any differently than men.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, no. I mean, you should train specific to your division, but actual training itself. The intensity, the weight.
Especially honestly, a lot of times I see some of the women have better pain threshold than some of the men.
Like,
for sure.
For
sure.
Yeah.
And higher recoverability too. Like women, it's proven that women have a higher recoverability. And yes, we have a higher pain tolerance.
Hey, look,
Josh disagrees.
I was gonna say I'm married to a natural redhead, so she's a woman and she has a redhead high pain tolerance thing. Like I've seen the woman give birth 3 times naturally. I'll just leave it right there. Anyone who can do that, that's a superpower. And then she comes at the gym and she says that she's sore from like bench pressing. I'm like, no, you're not. You're lying.
We found some bench presses.
Yeah.
There have been tons of studies that show that women have a higher threshold for volume than men do with training. A lot higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're superheroes. Just
you have a superpower for sure.
Making life and exercise better. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I make jokes.
Right. Ready for the next one? This one's from Christo. Any tips on growing legs at 51 with 2 previous blown/repaired knees? Back squats and leg extensions both hurt like a mofo these days.
I have 2 blown out knees. I know that. I've had both of my ACLs redone. I've had 5 knee operations. All I can tell you is sissy squats are your best friend.
Hack squat.
Yeah, Paul, don't you like some of those hack squat machines too?
Yeah, we have a hack press at my gym.
Yeah.
And the hack press is like the only damn thing that doesn't hurt my knees. We have this Atlantis hack squat. Atlantis makes some really nice fucking leg equipment, man. We have their hack press at my gym, which is fantastic. It doesn't hurt my knees. We also have their hack squat machine, which is also fantastic too. We have a nice collection of stuff. It's weird, man. Like I don't know if it's the platform angle or what it is. Like some of them kill me.
So I was gonna say like legs happens to be like and Paul knows this, like that's the one muscle group that I grow just by thinking about it. But I would say like between the leg press, the hack squat, and the pendulum swing, those three, you can find whatever hits and targets your whichever, be it quads or glutes or whatever it is that you're trying to work on, and kind of figure out between those three, they're slightly different, and you could probably target better what it is that you're trying to grow. I don't know, Paul. Does that sound logical? Like,
Yeah, I also break my legs up into different pieces of training. Like I specifically train my adductors. That you don't have to do anything for your knees. I mean, your adductors are 1/3 of your leg size, maybe more. I mean, you can do all kinds of adductor work that's not going to hurt your knees. Adduction machine. You can do goblet squats, things like that aren't going to hurt your knees. Posterior chain, which I have neglected, but I mean, hamstrings and glutes also are going to contribute to your look on leg size. It's not just quads.
So adductors and
adductors, quads, glutes.
I wonder if he can do hip
something
thrusts.
doesn't hurt, right?
Maybe hip thrusts without hurting the knees. If you position it carefully,
hip thrusts don't. I mean, they don't hurt me. I definitely have some exercises that really kill me. I'm going to show you this if I can get this thing to this Atlantis hack press, man.
Things that I've been trying for this question anyway, because I have a bad back and my knees aren't great, but they're not the biggest concern for me. But I've found that just making minor adjustments on things like a leg press or a hack squat or any sort of machine movement, like you can use something to elevate your toes or elevate your heels, or I use yoga blocks and a leg press to slightly move my hips forward, and that allows me to do some things. I've done some things with the hack squat, like preloading with a yoga band takes a lot of tension off of the knees, and then like this hack squat that Paul's showing right here, when you can adjust that back angle. You can find the back angle that works for you. If your gym doesn't have one of these with the adjustable back angle, you can do that using foam rollers or yoga blocks or whatever, so that you get the angle right for your back to take some of the tension off of your knees. For me, my knees hurt more at the bottom. I don't know, that might be different for you, but play around with some of these modifications on machines you already know. And if you start at a lower weight and you find something that's comfortable for you, then you can progress up from there.
Yeah,
this is the hack press that I was telling you about, the Atlantis hack press. It's awesome. Fucking, oh man, it's fucking awesome. Another thing, and I know it's one of the things they would tell people for hypertrophy is to put your knee or your feet low on the platform.
Yeah.
That fucking blows your knees up, man. Oh my God. And I saw, oh man, it was terrifying. I saw a guy, an orthopedic surgeon, it was on YouTube. I just happened to scroll through it, showing how placing your feet below where your knees pass over the plane of your toes. He sees a lot of people, like a popular trend of people doing that on hack squats, how much shearing it causes to the tendons in the knee. He said you're just asking for a tendon rupture.
But yeah, I like leg wraps. Probably you might want to try different kind of shoes. Jonathan Warren has a lot of stuff on using counter pressure to make weights heavier, like especially on the leg extension, like you're pushing down on the seat and hold the seat and things like that. So his channel's pretty good for stuff like that.
Oh yeah, squat shoes. Squat shoes definitely. When you get your heels up a little bit, that definitely helps.
Or set up plates, yeah.
Stand
on them.
I'd also just add two thoughts too. Is if lighting up the load intensity on a certain movement that's important to grow the legs, like just say hack squat and kind of having your feet more narrow. Let's say that targets your quads perfectly. If you lighten up the load a bit, but really spend exchanging that intensity into the time of the concentric, so you get a slower, longer, more time under tension, building more mechanical tension. Even though there's not more weight, you can kind of probably take it easy on your knees, which I've had to do as well. But then I just work on that concentric and get as much of a stretch of the target muscle. So I have a little bit easier time of not hurting my knees because of the load intensity, but I'm still getting a very effective, workout in. And then the
Hey,
other thing to keep in mind could be, like Dr. Marv talked about, like if you feel that some of your ligaments are a little on the weaker side compared to your muscle, like your quad muscles or whatnot, try some isometric holds. Like incorporate that as a part of building up that knee, the integrity of the knee through the ligaments.
yeah, I was gonna say, what do you guys think also about playing around carefully with foot placement? Like be it rotational or just spacing. Slightly outside shoulders, I would think that would definitely help you find that comfortable spot.
Yeah, I don't mean to jump in real quick, but where we have people that have different makeups of their body, like you got the taller, longer limbed person versus someone shorter, more of like a piston built like myself, depending on your extremities. Yeah, you might have to play around with foot placement because my foot placement might work great for me, but then Gonzo jumps in and
That's
it's
right.
not, because he has to make adjustments because of his biomechanics. So
I mean, just
I
think
think
about
that's
it.
very
Paul's
important.
like 6'2". If
Yeah.
he jumps on that hack squat and I jump after at 5'7.5", there's gonna be a change. There's gonna be a foot placement change.
Watch Nick Walker leg press sometime. He barely uses any weight. Like he always trains light, and he just really gets a good squeeze and full range of motion. I don't even know if you would call it full. It's probably as far as he can go.
Yeah.
But yeah, he never uses a ton of weight.
Interesting. Yeah.
As long as you get the stimulus you need, that's the secret sauce I've discovered this year with you, Paul. It's like,
what year is this video from, Paul?
That's a long
My
time ago.
goodness, he was huge in that video.
4 years ago.
Yeah,
that was 4 years ago, so he's even bigger now.
huge.
Jesus.
I know Jared Feather's been working with him the last couple of years. He's changed his training a little bit recently.
Yeah, I mean, he never lifts super heavy. Not that I see. All right, what do we got up next?
Next one is from Larry. Do you typically see I've got all these old man questions today. I love it. Do you typically see an older athlete get better at processing calories? Just turned 50, calories are higher than ever. Cycling 2 1,000 gram, 3 750 to 250 days. And I just broke 240 with veins everywhere. And Larry is crazy ripped. That to me says more about muscle ability to tolerate more calories than age alone.
Yeah.
No is the answer.
He's outgrowing his age, which is
Well,
beautiful.
you know what? You know why, Larry? Because you listened to me and you started doing some carb cycling, pushing those
Good job,
carbs
Paul.
up.
You made it.
I kept telling Larry was on his post show rebound phase, and he was like, I'm eating 400 grams of carbs. I'm like, Larry, double that. Eat more.
Yeah, Larry at his last show was like so amazingly peeled. Like I don't recall anyone that I personally know that could even get close to that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he's unique.
I kept telling him, like, dude, eat more.
Yeah.
I can almost say, though, most of the masters guys I've worked with and women, that the number one thing we have to address with diet, other than like conforming their diet, is actually digestion. Most of them kind of come in with some long-lasting digestion issues that never been addressed. But I've noticed that, maybe calories is one thing, but digestion, if we can improve that, now we're improving how we shuttle all the nutrients, how we absorb them. Going to the bathroom, bowel movements are more consistent and better. I'm sure Amy could probably tell us as to why a little better, but with age,
interestingly enough,
digestion huge.
Yeah, Larry actually did reach out to me after his show, and we talked a lot about a plan moving into his off season to optimize digestion, because it was something he had struggled with in the past. So it does make a difference. And really, some of the big differences as we age is, like everything in our body slows down, so a lot of things just kind of naturally start to slow down a little bit. I mean, even, this is why guys end up with, needing testosterone as they get older, but even our ability to make hydrochloric acid goes down. And if then we're not consuming enough, the precursors and B vitamins and other things to help us actually produce hydrochloric acid, like that starts to go down. And if that goes down, like everything goes down. So it has made a big difference. I mean, he was eating more than ever and actually digesting it in this off season, and it shows. Like his body is soaking it up.
You're gonna have a better result on stage.
Yeah,
he's gonna look good.
Yeah, and props to you, Amy. You did a great job with my buddy Zach there. That he's doing really good, just so you know.
Good. Oh, that's awesome to hear. He's such a good guy. Such a nice guy. We should, look at this, guys. We got a paid comment.
Well, you know why we weren't getting paid comments? Because I did not. Steve pointed it out yesterday. Thank you, Steve, for letting me know. After YouTube took my channel down last summer, they turned off all of my
monetization.
And I had to go through and reapply for it.
Oh, look at
and
that.
I did that yesterday. So now we can get. I was wondering why we weren't getting them anymore. I'm like, maybe
I was literally trying to send a paid comment in, and I was like, "What? Why can't I pay here? I can pay everywhere else.
Yeah.
Take my money."
Well, this is amazing, Cookies. Thank you so much. We'll ask this one. What's the closest replacement someone can use to replace Tren on a cut or contest prep? Also, EQ versus Primo on a cut. What's a better choice? And he actually wrote or mast.
I did not use Tren on my contest prep when I won my pro card. And I replaced Tren with a lot of Masteron and Primo Bowling. That worked really, really, really well for me. The problem is now Masteron is in short supply. You can probably get Masteron prep in it, but I really like that combo of Mast and Primo Bowling, and then ran Windstraw pretty hard the last couple weeks, and that got me just as hard as I would have on Tren. I think without all the Tren side effects.
I was going to say, didn't you ran Windstraw right into the competition? Did you? I think that.
I ran it. I ran it the last 2 weeks.
I think that was a great idea, and that's a. I think
that's like an old school way to do them. Yeah.
Well, I got that from AJ Sims, and the rumor has it this was the way Jay Cutler used to do it. He would drop injectables and ramp up to 200 milligrams of Windstraw the last 10 days, and that's what I did. And
I did that too. It worked.
Yeah, it worked really well.
These orals are 3 times more anabolic than testosterone, right? The Trenbolone is whatever 5 to 8 times, whatever it is, more anabolic than testosterone. Yep. But so I mean, if we want to talk about something to replace Tren, I guess it's hard to do that. But if we want to talk about it, like Paul's technique, I think was a great idea, and it depends on how you specifically react to these orals. So like oxandrolone gets. People say, "Oh, it's a lean, it's a lean muscle. It will lean you out." I've seen a lot of people who retain water off of oxandrolone. Or so if you retain too much water off of these orals, then you're not going to be able to run it into the show. But if you handle those orals and don't retain water off of it, then I think that's a great idea, and I think more people should do it.
Yeah, if you don't tolerate it too, I mean, everybody's been doing these micro doses of Tren lately. You see that getting more and more popular, and people are dosing that. People are getting results with 75 milligrams a week. So you can do that without side effects.
I mean, back in the day, back in the 90s, all the guys would take an amp of Parabolin every week, and it was at 7.
So they probably took 3.
What's that?
If they tell you they took 1, they probably took 3, right?
They took 3, but still the effective dose. I think it was like some autistic bro, some autistic bro in the comment section will know. But I think they were like 76.5, but it worked out by the time you factored out the ester. It was actually 50 milligrams even of active compound that were in there factored in for the ester weight. So
and that's for the total week, right?
The total week, yeah.
So it's very low. So it's very low.
Okay. I can almost get that 1 ml these days.
Yeah. I mean,
the poison's in the dose, right? So I think people started doing way too much Tren. It's like we said, it's 5 times more anabolic than testosterone. So if you're taking 500 milligrams of Tren, that's like taking 1,500 milligrams of testosterone. You're going to get it. It comes with 5 times the anabolic properties, but 5 times the side effects too. So so it's about I just like you guys are saying, I've seen people have really actual therapeutic benefits with really small doses, like 20, 30, 40, 50 milligrams a week.
So Eric, he said he uses low dose trying to get motivated and focused when work gets too intense.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could absolutely see that.
Oh my God, my work productivity is through the roof on Tren. I was like a fucking savage at work. I remember I shouldn't say this. It's terrible. I don't work there anymore. But I remember I had this guy I was like on the fence about firing. And I'm like I try to keep giving
Maybe
this guy
you shouldn't say
chance
this.
after
Hang
chance. And then I was like, yeah, fuck this motherfucker. He's out of here.
I was gonna say the
Done.
I already hit my keyboard like a ball peen hammer. The last thing I need is Trent. I'll be just punching the keys.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he also followed up about equipoise prep. A lot of the old school guys used to run equipoise prep. I just get concerned because of the elevation in hemoglobin and hematocrit when you're getting really fucking dehydrated at the end. That worries me a bit.
Is tren nephrotoxic? Like,
there are no studies out there that show it yet. I have seen countless blood works where people's cystatin C starts to creep up.
Yeah,
on tren. It seems
with anadrol for sure it'll be nephrotoxic.
It seems to reverse when you come off of it.
Yeah.
So it's temporary.
Whatever the effect is seems to be acute, but acute damage can lead to chronic damage, right?
Oh, for sure.
So acute
buyer
stress.
beware. Absolutely. Buyer beware.
But once again, the poison's in the dose.
I was just going to say that'd be very dose dependent.
Mine sits at like 0.9 up to 600 tren a week.
600 tren a week.
Yeah, I'm doing less now, of course. But you figure out how much you can take, and then you go down.
You must be really fun to be around when you're mad.
We didn't know what the fuck we were doing back in the early 2000s, but I remember the first time I took it, I ran 100 milligrams a day.
Wow.
And that was the shit that we made, stuff from the pellets.
Yeah.
Were you the one in the bathtub? Is that what the story is?
Yeah. That's the bathtub.
Well, I forget the name of that guy. There was a guy that sold the kits to make it. He was all over the forums. He had somebody will remember the name, but there was a dude that sold all the kits you needed to make it, and you go to the farm and family store and be like, hey, I need some Phenoplex pellets for my heifers.
There was a time in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, that tren was more available than testosterone because of that. You could just get it and make it yourself.
Well, now you're
holy shit, that stuff was strong.
You could get tren like way easier, and so people were running just tren like all over the place. It was not good.
Oh my god, that's
1500 tren. That's my cycle.
Yeah, that stuff had to have been so bad for you. I remember all the solvents you'd have to use to break the pellets down, and then you'd have to filter it out.
It was like piss yellow.
Did you guys ever get the tren back then that had the brown flakes in the bottom of the vial still from the Phenoplex tablets?
Yeah.
Man.
So just like you, Paul, like I started to notice that all these guys' lives were just like their relationships were all getting destroyed. Like their lives are going in the toilet. And the common theme started to be you're running that much tren. And I was like,
week 6 to week 9, right?
This is causing a problem.
I remember a buddy of mine called it divorce in a bottle.
Yeah.
Relationship ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a Dr. Todd thing.
Or shopping.
Ayahuasca.
Or shopping. That's the other thing. Like a friend of mine here at the gym was telling me, like he got this weird urge to shop all the time on tren. I'd never even heard of it. I think Amy had mentioned something about this too.
Your dopamine's all fucked up.
Yeah.
You're trying to look for a dopamine hit because your dopamine's all suppressed.
So you and that Amazon app are in trouble if you're on tren.
I learned that one the hard way. I had to make a deal with myself that I won't make any major purchasing decisions on contest prep. And I still almost bought a Corvette when I was in Vegas last year.
Yeah, Psycho said that, or wait a minute. He said that in your age when we ran. Yeah, that's what we said. We were 100 milligrams a day. That's what everybody said.
Man.
No dose.
I remember I got about 5 days into it, and I'm like, I thought I had the flu because I was like sweating, and I had a fever. I had a fucking fever from it.
Yeah. You have an immune.
It could have been an infection or the tren. That's what's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys ever use a little tren kind of at the end of a growth phase to kind of clean things up if somebody gets a little floppy?
You can sprinkle a little bit in at the end. I know some pros that do that. They'll just put a little dab on in the end just to clean up a little bit.
Yeah. I've
Are we
noticed that
talking like the last couple of weeks, or are we talking like a
Yeah,
longer
last
than
month of
that?
a
I
yeah.
was gonna say 4 weeks of
3-4
just
weeks?
maybe 15 milligrams a day or something, 20 milligrams a day, clean up your physique pretty well. If you just hold kind of like in a maintenance phase for your diet.
So it's
You know,
almost
I'm
like a prep for the prep, almost, right?
Yeah, or
Kind
just
of
like a mini cut with drugs instead of instead of
instead of discipline.
yeah.
I tell people recomps are impossible, but that with enough trend, maybe they are. Yeah, no, it's funny. I remember I was talking to Kurt about it, and Kurt was saying, this is just an anecdote, but I've noticed the same thing too, that the negative psychological effects of trend don't seem to be as pronounced when you're in a caloric surplus.
Yeah.
So
you're not amplifying that fight and flight response with hunger too, because you
yeah,
got the androgenicity of trenbolone, and then you throw on, being restricted with calories, your fight and flight response is going to be very high, but if you have one of those addressed and you got plenty of food, we're usually pretty docile people.
the old school trend hit. I don't know. It's like one of those things you fondly remember from when you're younger. I mean, man, the Phenoplex was fucking hit hard. Now everybody's going to be going out and buying Phenoplex pellets. Don't do that.
You're going to cause
You
a
ask the
shortage.
guys in their 50s, though, they'll always say everything was better back then.
Yeah. Nostalgia and romanticism is a thing for sure.
Well, it was better for them because their muscles were bigger.
I will say this, man. We were running in the early 2000s. We were mostly running real pharmaceuticals. It was I was using testavirons. I was using the Bear Equipoise,
before the dawn of the UGL, right? Like you could only really get. I mean, you could really only get like the stuff from Mexico too, like Quality Vet, Dencal.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of actual pharmaceutical stuff that was going on.
Quality Vet for your animal.
Yeah, that was the funny
Unleash the animal inside.
But they had like 300 milligram per milliliter in the Testinante, and
it might have an eyelash or hair in the bottom of the bottle, but it was.
Who was it that was telling me that they had a friend that actually owned a cow, and the only reason they had the cow was so they could get EQ. It was something like that. I forget the details of the story, but it was some crazy old school story. Like, going to the vet, that poor horse.
Dude, when I was younger, we just go straight into the store and just buy that shit. Nobody asked.
Yeah.
Now you can't buy cough syrup without your ID.
But I did grow up in a farm town, so it
was a given. Yeah.
One of the guys in my high school his family owned a farm and with a bunch of cattle, and he was huge all through high school. He was jacked.
Now you put it together, you're like,
he was jacked. He had the New York State amateur bench record too. Like, now you put it together. It's like,
and I'm like,
he was using that.
I remember that the Bear Equipoise that came in the 50 ml, the vet stuff.
Yeah,
50 ml bottle. I think it was only like 50 milligrams a milliliter though. It was very low.
So you have to pin like 3 cc's, or how much volume
we
you have to pin?
Dude, back in the day, we didn't talk about milligrams.
We didn't measure anything.
Fill up the needle.
Just take. Literally, it's probably why these old school bodybuilders still know what they took. They're like, well, I took 3 decas, 3 tests, and 2 parabolins for contest prep.
They used to make Winstrol in 2.5 milligram tablets, so you'd have to take 20. Like you'd take 20.
Wow.
All right, we got some more paid questions.
Yes, we do. And so from Lewis on the net, this was actually, he had a couple of questions, and so it was the same question as somebody else. So they wanted to know, is EQ more anabolic than test? Those were the first questions from both of them. And then he followed up with, what's healthier, high test with an AI or EQ? So first one is, test more anabolic than EQ.
Yes.
Well, if you believe the Hirschberger essay, EQ is 100 anabolic and 50 androgenic on the Hirschberger essay. So technically, no.
Yeah.
But anybody who's ever used Equipoise can tell you that it's more anabolic than testosterone is. Certainly, it does seem to drive red blood cell production more than testosterone. So that would logic the reason that it is more anabolic, I would think.
Or
So
iron.
would you rather take 1,000 milligrams of EQ to grow or 1,000 milligrams of test?
I mean, I'd rather take tests.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, I don't really trust those ratios. I threw those.
Well,
out
it's a
lot.
very flawed system, but it's what we have, what we know.
So that's some of them in like halo testing. What's the one that's like ridiculously anabolic?
Probably
Anavar is on paper
3 times.
Well, too, yeah.
You see that in practice though. Like if you take, I mean, you can grow. Shit, you can put a lot of muscle on it from Anavar, from any of the. I mean, Stanozolol too. You can put a lot of muscle on, so it actually makes sense that they're really potent. But so I agree. Like a lot of those ratios, like you kind of take with a grain of salt. Some of them look pretty accurate, and some of them just don't.
They give us clues. I mean, like
yeah.
Tren is on paper 5 times testosterone. We certainly know that Tren is way more potent than testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 100 milligrams of Tren, you'll definitely know you're on it.
Oh yeah.
100 milligrams of testosterone, you probably won't even notice.
Yeah. True.
I'm more likely to follow the androgen rating, and just kind of understand that a little bit better of like what's higher androgen than the next.
But I am, it goes back to the EQ conversation I had earlier. I'm starting to lean towards, I think testing an AI would probably be the safer, if you're trying to play it conservative, and you're concerned about some of the potential health. I wouldn't put equipoise in like the Anadrol or halotestin or DHB or MENT category, but it is definitely a B or a C tier when it comes to safety. It's not. I mean, the A tier for safety would be probably Test, GH, Primavol, and Masteron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I would. And maybe DECA, I don't know. DECA is probably B because of just the psychological side effects it can cause in some people. I would probably take DECA over equipoise, to be honest with you.
A toxicity tier would be a fun thing to go over.
Yeah, I mean, Steve's already kind of done that, but I would, like if you're, and I've said this a million times, if you're just purely concerned about safety, I would stick with the bioidentical stuff first.
Yeah.
Test, GH, and then if you want to layer on something on top of it, you could do that.
The Primo Mass maybe would be the least
if they're not available. But if I only had a choice between, I personally, if this tells you anything, as a 52-year-old man, I'm never touching equipoise again ever. I'm done with it. It's not in my toolbox.
Yeah.
Tren, I don't know. There's every once in a while I'm like, I think I could try it again.
The devil's nectar.
Just a few days. Just a little taste.
I might be all right. I might be all right this time.
I can start sending you Tren memes on Instagram. We can get you started, dog. No problem. I'll cook for you. I'll clean for you.
There was another question here from Cookies. He asked another one.
Yep, he did. So the other one from Cookies. How do you know if the reason you're not at your desired leanness is because you're holding water or because you're not low enough body fat percentage?
I know the answer. Hire a coach.
You can't dehydrate fat. That's the other.
Yep.
No, take an AI for a couple of days and see what happens. If you lose fucking 5 pounds, it's water. Take a hydrochlorothiazide. See if you lose. I had Dave back in the winter. I got up to like 270, and my blood pressure was through the roof. And Dave was like, "Man, he's like, you should just take a hydrochlorothiazide and see what happens." And I dropped like fucking 15 pounds.
Wow.
I'm like, all right, well, I guess that was water retention.
That's an okay diuretic to take one time. That's not a harsh one. That one's not bad, guys.
No. It's just it's just going to flush sodium. It's pretty mild.
Yeah.
I also always go with what Justin Harris always said. If you can't tell the difference between what you're looking at as body fat or water, it's fat. Just assume it's fat.
That's true. Worst case scenario.
Just
go with that.
Yeah.
I can honestly, I just quickly was going to mention too, when it comes to water weight, I've always been a little bit of like an erratic water buffalo myself. Off season prep, it doesn't matter. Like sometimes I'll just hold a bunch of water for a weekend and then drop it. Paul's seen it. I can hold a good amount of water. But until I started actually, like, I always measured my salt, I always took care of my electrolytes, but until I actually started measuring my daily amount and not just using tablespoon, like, quarter tablespoons, excuse me, teaspoons, I was actually just allotting myself X amount of electrolytes for the day, and I would just use them up throughout the day. And I seem to have such more consistent photos. I always kind of, have a little bit more of a consistent look, a little drier, and it definitely helped me hone in and learn a little bit more of how I was holding water. It was just my consistency was off. It wasn't as good as I assumed.
Yeah, it does make a difference in getting plenty of potassium, man. I think most people under consume potassium. Just be careful if you're on an ARB.
Yeah. Well, that's why I use that Morton's light salt now.
Yeah, that light salt's great.
But I think what was happening is, like, I'd have a few meals here and there that just I typically wouldn't put salt on. It might be something really sweet or whatever that I just forgot that I typically don't throw salt on that. So I'd be missing salt throughout the day. With those
Salt
meals.
goes good with sweet food.
No, it does. No, but sometimes you just forget. Like, it doesn't call to your brain, this isn't chicken and rice, so I'm not throwing salt on it.
Yeah.
But when I put the daily amount and I would just use it up by the end of the day, even if I had to throw it in my water bottle and drink it, you'd be surprised how much salt you can put in a liter and not notice it at all.
Oh yeah, Tommy's got a good tip here.
Yeah, quick tip to determine fat or water after fasted cardio: hit the sauna, take photos. You'll be dry from the cardio, and the sauna will give you another lens to look through.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's a coach or something.
Almost like he's a good coach.
The other thing I do sometimes, and I forget where I learned this, but if you just pinch the skin, just pinch the skin when you pull it out, and if you feel nothing but skin on skin in between your fingers, that's probably water. And if you feel anything that has any texture, then that's fat.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah. All right, and then Larry gave us a bonus chat from last week that Dr. Marv answered his question about the hamstring pressure. That was a great question, Larry. That was I think there are a lot of people were really helped by everything Dr. Marv said about, like, recovery and rehab. It was so good. It was a great question.
Yeah, I gotta get solo Q&A up with Dr. Marv. He's great.
Yeah, so good. Now I call them bonus chats. They're just coming in like crazy. This one from Jay Hollis, 1909. What's your experience with MOTS-C? And I'm hearing different things about daily, biweekly, and or weekly dosages. Thoughts?
Oh man,
Dave is the MOTS-C expert.
I mean, I find it to be a really good little fat burner. I think the only thing that I've noticed is I don't feel it strong enough in just increasing the dose, like towards the end of a show prep, puts me over the edge. I kind of had to break out some of the clen, some of the ECY stuff towards the end. But I do it daily. I just do a daily administration, and just in the morning. Nothing really special. I like it. I think it's that and SS31 I'm pretty big fans of. Yeah.
Is the MOTS-C one that you feel? Is that one that you can actually feel an effect, physically speaking?
I mean, I don't. The SLU, I can definitely feel the thermic effect. Like, I can feel my core temperature, especially, you start cardio, you get sweating and clammy pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
But it's short-lived as well. MOTS-C, I don't really notice much. No.
Okay.
I've heard some people say that they do, like, that they inject it and, like, immediately start getting, like, sweaty and, like, they really feel it. But I'm kind of with you on that, Dave. Like, I don't know that I necessarily feel it.
Well, I've noticed people have like an allergic reaction to it too, so I don't know if they're getting a sweaty reaction or heart rate gets raised real quick from it, something like that.
Yeah, possible. That is something with MOTS-C. I've heard that some people can have almost an anaphylactic response to it.
Yeah.
I had a vial of MOTS-C that I just reconstituted a week ago, gelled, like completely congealed. I flipped over, I went to draw it out, and I'm like, nothing's happening. And I looked, I'm like, oh my gosh, it like literally had congealed completely. So I was a little weirded out by that, but chucked it.
I wonder what the fuck was in there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's not good. I mean, like, it's clear, didn't get cloudy, like completely clear, but just solid gel.
I've also noticed some people say they feel it and some don't. And it makes me wonder if the people who might have mitochondrial dysfunction are the ones that notice the big boost from it.
Oh, that makes sense. That would make perfect sense, actually.
It's just, this is bro logic. I don't, there's no science there.
Yeah, Ryan Brandon was somebody who said that he really, really feels MOTS-C. Like that as soon as he injects it, like he said he'd inject it by the time he even got down to like just walk down the stairs to start doing cardio, he'd be like sweating and really feeling it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like as with everything, everything's going to be a little different. I think like one of the things I like to kind of warn people about with MOTS-c is that it it directly binds the DNA and releases a lot of your cell defense mechanisms against reactive oxygen species. So it increases intracellular glutathione and superoxide dismutase. The reason why those defense mechanisms aren't always out because they can cause problems if there's too much of it, right? So I think we've talked about this before, but if you use too much MOTS-c, like it can have the opposite effect. You'll actually start becoming fatigued and lethargic from too much, right?
So should people not run MOTS-c and like injectable glutathione at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that there wouldn't be a benefit, but there could be a problem there, right? Too much glutathione will actually prevent the electron transport chain from going through. If you have too much,
And that's what we need with the MOTS-c to get AMP kinase to upregulate is that the ROS process, correct?
Yeah. So in the beginning, it does help. Like reactive oxygen species also, absolutely inhibits the electron transport chain from producing ATP. But too much of the species, like superoxide dismutase, will also inhibit the electron transport chain. So it's just kind of finding that happy medium.
Cool. All right, we want to get one last one in. Cookie's got a last one, and then I gotta finish this up. He's got a lot of questions.
Cookies has a lot of questions, and he's earning them for sure. So he asked if there's a fat burner tier list. You guys remember it was Vigorous Steve, Dean, St. Martin, and Kurt did a fat burner tier list, and they kind of jokingly put every single thing in the S tier, and then actually went back through and put them where they actually would put them. But it was really funny, like literally everything, like S tier, it's the best thing ever.
If you believe the clinical trials, nothing beats retatrutide. It is had the most profound weight loss ever seen on a clinical trial from a drug. Yep. It was the largest amount, so that would be top of the list. It looks like. If you want to lose weight, I mean, I still am a fan of clenbuterol. I think clenbuterol for bodybuilding, it just because it's not only is it a fat burner, it is an anti-catabolic on top of it. So I'm still a big fan of clenbuterol. The only thing that does worry me a little bit with clenbuterol, hammer beta agonist isn't great for your heart long term. Probably not great for your cardiovascular health. That maybe some of these mitochondrial stacks might be the safer way to go. Potentially, we don't know long term, but it may be long term. Good old fashioned ECA or ECY stack is pretty decent if you can't get clenbuterol. But I would take clenbuterol before I would do an ECY stack. Bulimia is S tier. Jesus Christ.
And we can always mention it's got to come in here. SLUPP 332. It's in there. That worked for me.
Yeah, I mean it's still new. I think it makes me wonder when people are pairing up the MOTS-c and SLU and Reta together, how much of it, if it's like 90% the Reta and 10% everything else. Yeah. We don't know for sure. You might be able to get similar results with just the Reta.
Reta does great work by itself. We have that in studies.
Yeah, I mean that's showing in studies. I have been pairing it up with MOTS-c and SLU, and it seems that it synergizes nicely with those for people that are resistant to fat loss. I've had some people that I definitely last year had some people. I was hesitant to use it on contest prep last year because I know the old tried and true formula works. But I had some people that just struggle with fat loss. And the guys that went, I did a probably 50-50 split, but the guys that did the mitochondrial stack, so to speak, the Dr. Dean stack, had a way easier time losing fat.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I added that the first prep I did on just Reta, and then the second prep of last year, I added the SLU and the MOTS-c. And I've never taken either one of them independently to know whether or not MOTS-C works or if you can feel it on your own. But I know that, you take that SLUPP 332 before cardio, and you can just feel the metabolic effect, or the thermogenic effect of that compound like right away. So, and I don't tolerate stimulants well. So for me, I'm always looking for an alternative to stimulants, and I got pretty lean, probably sub 6% for that show. So
you're welcome, Cookies. Thank you for the
super chats.
donation.
That's what they're called.
The super chats, just so you guys know, the super chats. I put in my dinner fund for when we go to the Arnold and bodybuilding events, and I buy everybody dinner. That's usually what I do with that money.
Well, Mike, if I could just quickly throw something in, like what you were mentioning too, is I think when we look at fat burner tier list, I think it depends on who's asking the question sometimes too, because I used to be able to handle stimulants pretty well, and an elevated heart rate wasn't the end of the world, and it is effective, but for a short period of time until my sleep's affected, and then you have to crank the dose up because you become adapted to that dose, and then you start snowballing. You're exchanging poor sleep for a little bit better fat loss when you might actually have a less resistance keeping that sleep in, and maybe just using something differently that's not going to elevate your heart rate, keep you awake, keep you in fight or flight mode. You're always jacked up.
Yeah,
that does play a toll on guys like myself anyhow. Where then again, there's some people that thrive in that. Like, I can speak for Jackie. She likes the stimulant approach. It just seems to be beneficial to her. She can still get her good sleep in and works well.
I was going to say they all have different vectors, right, or methods of action. So that would make it like impossible for me to then do a proper S tier list, because like you said, Dave, if you're somebody who already has like high cortisol, and do you want the stimulant because you're not going to sleep?
Should you be taking 100 micrograms of T3?
Yeah. I mean, look at it like cost. Like if the cost in money was $1,000 for a bottle of Retta, you'd say, well, it works great, but it's not worth the cost.
Right,
it's not
right,
going into
right.
a stack. So look at that for your sleep. Look at that for what's going to get you better on stage. That's what cost are you exchanging? So
my approach anymore with diets and contest prep, the least amount of fat burning agents, the least amount of cardio, and the most amount of food I can get away with and get people lean is what I'm going to opt for. That always yields the best look.
What is it that you taught me, Paul? Always have cards like in your,
that was a John Meadows thing. I give credit where credit was due. John talked about keeping the aces in your hand until you need them. Like if we get to the end, like the one thing I will say, and Dave mentioned it earlier, is like as guys get towards the end of their cuts, sometimes you just need a little bit of fucking clenbuterol or an ECY stack to get you that last little bit.
Yeah,
sure. And that might be a great execution, because you might, by the time you're done using it, you might not be exchanging a whole bunch of extra sleep and recovery and stress, everything.
Oh, somebody mentioned thyroid. Thyroid was catabolic fat. Oh my God! Don't get me started on T3.
Yeah,
thyroid designs your body to burn protein, which is your muscles. Please do not take too much T3.
Yeah, it was not a good result when I did it. All right, folks, I got to wrap this up. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for all your support. We love